Looks like the forest gradually slopes upward on a hill. Doesn't look too steep." Harry grinned. "That's what I like to hear. A gradual slope. I'm not as fit as I used to be, you know." He looked fit to me, lean and wiry, and he'd been strong enough to have kept a demon trapped in his basement for more than a decade, something that required both mental and physical endurance. So his old man act was probably simply that, an act. He might be trying to appear less threatening than he really was. I was worried about something lurking out there in the mist, but maybe I should be more concerned about my newfound companion. As we walked away from the river and toward the forest, a female voice called out from somewhere in the trees. "Hello, is someone out there?" Harry and I looked at each other. "Could be a trap," he said. "Or it could be someone who needs our help." I cupped my hands around my mouth and called out, "We're over here!" A rustling sound came from the undergrowth, and then a branch snapped and the woman's voice said, "Ouch! Why are there so many trees?" She came stumbling out of the forest, her auburn hair matted with twigs and leaves. She was dressed in jeans and a flower-patterned blouse that had been torn along one arm. "I didn't realize Purgatory would be so overgrown," she said, picking the sticks and leaves out of her hair. "I'm Daria Coyne, by the way. Perhaps you've heard of me?" She narrowed her eyes, looking me over, and then added, "I've certainly heard of you. You're Alec Harbinger, aren't you?" I was surprised she knew my name, but I'd never heard of her, despite her saying I might have. "Yes, I'm Alec Harbinger. Should I know you?" "Not particularly. I enjoy a modicum of fame, or maybe notoriety would be a better word, in my hometown, but I guess my reputation hasn't reached Deermont." "And what reputation might that be?" Harry asked. There was some lasciviousness in his voice. Seeing this 60-something-year-old man leering over Daria, who looked no more than 30, turned my stomach. She looked at him and cocked an eyebrow. "Wouldn't you like to know? And you are?" "Harry Winslow, demonologist. I assume you're a witch." "That's quite an assumption, Harry, but yes, I am a witch. And from Salem, too, to make the stereotype complete." That explained how Daria had heard of me. Salem wasn't too far from Deermont. She must have seen me on the local news. Avoiding TV cameras was something I regularly failed at, no matter how hard I tried to stay out of the media spotlight. "What did you do to end up here?" Harry asked Daria. She bit her lip and her eyes looked down at the ground. "I did something very bad." Taking a deep breath, she turned to me and forced a smile. "Are we going to get out of here or what?" "We're going to move upriver," I told her. "If we can gain some elevation, we might be able to see exactly where we are." "I think I know exactly where we are," she said grimly. "We're in Purgatory, cut off from everything and everyone we know." Her words made me think of Felicity and my dad and everyone else I'd left behind. Would I ever see them again? I dismissed the question. Of course I would. I had to believe that. "We can find a way out of here," I said. Daria looked at me with desperation in her eyes. "You really think so?" I nodded. "First, we need to check our surroundings. That means climbing that hill." She looked at the tree-covered incline and wrinkled her nose. "Ugh, more trees." "I thought witches liked nature," said Harry. Daria shrugged. "Sure, but not when it's attacking me. I'll be pulling leaves out of my hair for days." "We'll find a route that isn't too overgrown," I said. She smiled at me. "Lead the way, Alec." We entered the forest. The mist clung to the ground, snaking over the undergrowth. It wasn't so thick at eye level, though, and visibility here was better than at the waterfall. I scanned the forest warily, looking for any type of movement that might give away the location of another living being here, but saw nothing. The trees grew on an incline that wasn't so steep that it would be impassable, but was angled sharply enough that we'd feel it in our legs when we began to climb. This was not the gradual slope Harry had been looking forward to, but he didn't complain as we trudged up the hill. In fact, he matched my pace easily. I found a route up the hill that avoided most of the overhanging branches and foliage. After 30 minutes of walking uphill, my legs were on fire. I stopped and leaned against